Hey everybody, I'm Chrysantheme, welcome back to Might and Magic 6. Now in between the episodes I ran around and found the second hireling, which means we now have both of our hireling slots occupied. I found an instructor. She will increase the experience points gained by 15%. And in my opinion this is the optimal setup of hirelings to have, an instructor and a scholar, because the experience is much more valuable than anything you can get. And the added bonus of the scholar is that you have an unlimited identify item skill on all your characters, which means that you won't have to spend money at, for example, blacksmiths and other shops to identify items, and you also won't have to put, skill points into the identify item skills yourself, which is incredibly useful. Now first things first, Zoltan actually has some cobra eggs that we forgot to turn in, so we'll just pay a visit to Mr. Hayaz here, and just click on the topic of cobra eggs. I get 300 gold per cobra egg, which means 1,800 gold in total because we had 6 eggs, which is good. You know, it's a boost. And now we're going to visit the town hall, talk to Frank. He has a quest for us concerning a healer named Cherry that was kidnapped. But that's not what we're interested in, to be honest. We're interested in Goblinwatch. And as soon as we click it, we get this little handy key. We're going to give this to Zoltan. This is the key to an old keep called Goblinwatch that was basically built by the citizens to protect themselves from the goblins. However, it sort of fell in a state of disrepair, and the goblins actually managed to take over the keep by digging a tunnel and invading it. So now what we have to do is go in and find a scroll with a combination to the doors that lead to the underground tunnels. Let's just check the bounty hunt as well. Oh my god, a colossal hydra. Bounty hunts are mini quests in this game. Each month you can visit a town hall, and each town hall has a specific bounty hunt for you. The bounty hunt is a hunt for a specific monster. If you kill a monster and return to the same town hall by the end of the month, you will get a gold reward. But in this case, it's a colossal hydra, which, I'm sure you can figure out by yourself that the hydras are basically late game enemies, so we're not going to do that just now. One thing that I forgot to do last episode when I wrapped up is we actually have rank 4 water magic on Zoltan, and we have rank 4 body magic with Serena. And when you have rank 4 magic, or any skill in this game, it means you can go to expert with it. And there's a handy teacher in Sorpigal that teaches us the body magic expert for 1,000 gold, which we are going to do because it will power up our first aid spell a bit. It will cure 2 additional hit points. Now New Sorpigal actually has all the basic magic experts. So it has experts in spirit, mind, and body magics, and it has experts in fire, air, water, and earth magics. The reason why I'm not going to visit the water magic expert teacher is because if you remember in the previous episodes, we found an island just offshore that was infested with goblin shamans and kings and wizards that were shooting us while we were trying to swim, or if we tried to swim. And unfortunately, the water magic expert teacher is smack dab in the middle of that island, so we're not gonna go there. The air expert teacher is here for some reason and is inaccessible unless you have the jump or fly spell. And you have the fire magic teacher here and the earth magic teacher here. However, we do not have any fire magic ranks. We do have air magic here, but we didn't put any points in it because we're rushing towards sword mastery. And we do not have earth magic at all because it's the worst magic of the elemental magic, so I usually level it up last. In general, it's better to level up water magic and air magic first. Water magic is even better than air magic because when you get a high enough rank in water magic, it means you have access to a choice of teleport with the town portal spell You can choose a location on where it drops you off, and that's incredibly useful, but we'll get that in the future. Right now, it's time to enter the Goblinwatch Keep, which is basically the second tutorial dungeon in this game. It's actually, in my opinion, a bit easier than the Abandoned Temple, because in the Abandoned Temple, all enemies can inflict debuffs, and the poison debuff is encountered quite often. Whereas in the Goblinwatch Keep, the only monsters, I mean, sure, you have two different kinds of monsters, and two different kinds of monsters that inflict disease. Don't know what happened there with my tongue. But they don't inflict disease all that often. And then you just have goblins to worry about. So I'm opening these wall panels, but I'm only opening the ones that have chests behind them. And this is actually the code, this is the quest item that we have to get. At this point you could just return to the town hall and finish the quest, but we're going to explore it first. Explore the dungeon, I mean. So the steel helm goes on Serena. It's a nice little boost to armor class. We have 2 empty potion bottles and we have a lot of yellow herbs, so if we get more potion bottles we can actually brew up 4 energy potions and give 1 to each character. I don't know why, but I usually like having my characters as equally powerful as possible in terms of status points. There's a +3 armor class ring. I don't know whether I should just equip it or sell it because its value is 1,200. I don't know, I'll decide later. And a pair of gauntlets. We need to put gauntlets on anyone. Yeah, we actually have to put gauntlets on Alexis because I think she has the least amount of armor class of the 3 that do not have gauntlets. Yeah. Even with the gauntlets, she's on 19 and Serena's on 26 and Zoltan's on 21. I'm feeling a bit under the weather today, sorry about my sniffing and everything. But yeah, like I said, in my opinion, Goblinwatch is basically easier. But I usually do the Abandoned Temple first because there's 3 quests associated with it, and you get more experience by doing the quests than you get by clearing out the Goblinwatch Keep and then turning the quest in. Let's see, found a shield. We have a better one already. I'll just recast Wizard Eye and Torchlight. Push the button right here. Opens up these wall columns. We have doors behind them. Oh, I think something broke. Oh my god. Oh, thank god. Okay, there we go.
Got it.
It's funny because it really depends on the monsters that you get, how hard of a time you will have. For example, right now we had 2 Goblin Kings to deal with, and they did a number on poor Zoltan here. Thank god that the rats were pretty easy to down. Now the only thing I'm basically worried about in this dungeon is that I get diseased with any of my characters, because disease is actually a more potent debuff than poison is. And the thing with disease is it doesn't have a cure disease potion in this game, like we have a cure disease, like a cure poison potion. Which means that if we get diseased, our only option is to either use a spell, which we don't have, or backtrack to a monastery to heal, and I just don't want to waste time on that. Let me just show you the Goblinwatch code. If you pick it up and then left click over your character portrait, you'll see that you have a sort of puzzle to do. It's I really like it when games do these, you know, implement puzzles that actually are sort of mind puzzles. I really like that. But this is the console basically that you need to sort of type the combination into. For anybody that's interested in cracking the code themselves, I suggest you just forward 30 seconds ahead or so. For anybody that's not interested and just wants to, you know, have the combination spoiled, it's pretty simple. It's N-I-L-B-O-G. So it's basically Goblin spelled backwards, if you're having trouble remembering it. It opens up all the doors, and this is not a necessary requirement for finishing the quest. You do not need to crack the code yourself, you just need to have the code scroll in your inventory and just take it back to the town hall. So I have more rats and monsters here. Which, as I said in the abandoned temple, the thing with the monsters in these two dungeons is that usually when you get a hit, you kill the monster outright. Even more so with the bloodsuckers and the rats, because they have even less hit points than, for example, the cobras, and they have less armor class. At least I think they do, because I find they're much easier to down than cobras are. So yeah, if you're having trouble with the abandoned temple, you could just go ahead and try. You got a spear. You could just go ahead and try finishing Goblinwatch first. Goblinwatch also has a fairly substantial amount of loot. So, you know, if you're having trouble with the abandoned temple, I suggest you just, you know, give it some rest for a bit and then just finish up Goblinwatch first. Let me just heal up a bit. With the rat coming towards us, please die. Thank you. Now the reason why I'm picking the corpses of bloodsuckers and rats is because sometimes they have a chance to have rings on them. But you know, you can just basically sell, because they're not usually enchanted. But you know, money's good. So wizard eye and torchlight again. I'm gonna go ahead and just run forward a bit, because there's a rat here that usually aggroes on you. And I don't want her to, you know, poop on my party.
Got it.
Nothing special. Steel helm. I think I have steel helms on all of my characters already, so that's pretty much useless. Yeah, Zoltan even has a defender's helm. So when I open up this next chest, I'm actually going to get a sort of ambush by goblin shamans, and we picked up a very, very good greatsword. I think I'm gonna use this one. So we have a crusader sword here. Who's better with their weapons? Is it Roderick or is it Alexis? Yeah, I actually prefer putting this with Alexis. It's going to do a bit more damage, even though she won't hit as often. Although I guess these two swords are actually fairly identical in terms of usefulness. Because the Crusader sword actually has a nice amount of damage and it has a very good attack bonus. But the Greatsword deals sort of more maximum damage, but it has a worse attack bonus. Can't decide actually. You know what, I'm just sticking to the Crusader sword in this case. Like I said, I actually prefer the attack bonus in the beginning, because you can usually kill monsters in one hit, no matter how good of a sword you have, because they have such a low amount of hit points. And that was the ambush that I was talking about. It only happens when you open the second chest the first time.
Got it.
Oh, yeah, super loot. A potion bottle.
Got it.
Daggers and 2 pairs of boots. One of them with cold resistance, which isn't terribly useful. So I can put the... Let's put the cold resistance on Zoltan. Oops, misclicked. And that's one section of the Goblinwatch Keep done. And before going forward, I'm going to rest up here. Just press R again and then skip the sort of animation. That allows me to, you know, replenish my hit points, my spell points. So it's all good, and now we're all ready to go forward. You can usually pinch forward and aggro monsters even around corners and things. It's useful because you get the upper hand on them, or you get the first strike and you can basically kill them before they have a chance to harm you. Sometimes they even get stuck behind corners, and you basically get 3 attacks on them. Which, you know, you can abuse. I tend to abuse it because, you know, I'm used to it. Why have a chance to get either diseased or even, you know, put into unconsciousness if you can just safely kill enemies. There's a really nice section of the game where I can actually demonstrate the, I don't know, I'm going to say the glitchiness of combat, because there is a certain door in at one point in a game that has a hole in it, and you can basically just stand on the other side of the door and kill an enormous amount of enemies that are trying to get to you. It's really funny because you get no damage and you can just stand there and really attack enemies. Oh, we actually got downed a bit, so I'm going to mash the S button so my spellcasters will have a chance to heal. A good thing about, you know, casting, for example, heal, is that it pauses your game when the spell cursor is activated, or when the spell is actually cast, so you don't have to worry about, you know, goblins or any other mobs basically killing you in the meantime. You can decide which character you want to heal, so that's really good. I try to keep away from the bloodsuckers as much as possible because they're the ones that are carrying the disease along with rats. And I get a lot of Goblin Kings this time. I usually don't get that many Goblin Kings. And they're fairly strong at this point, especially because they also have a ranged attack. So they're kind of annoying. Another Goblin King. I usually don't get this many Goblin Kings. I can just fight the rats back because I don't have a ranged attack. Recast Wizard Eye and Torchlight, and then heal some more with Serena. The thing with the first aid spell is that it only heals. Now that I'm expert, it heals 7 hit points, and only costs 2 spell points. So I'll be clicking a lot to get healed up. But the problem is that it doesn't stack with your body magic skill, or it doesn't get better the more you stack on your body magic skill, which is kind of unfortunate. They did fix that in Might and Magic 7, quote unquote fix that, because you have a +2 hit points healed per rank in body magic, and that's good. But right now we're stuck with it. You get better spells, you get Cure Wounds soon, which does stack with body magic. But right now we're stuck with Cure Wounds, First Aid. And you know what, it does the job just fine. It just involves a little bit more clicking. Kill the giant rat. Fight back a bit. Let me just recast Wizard Eye and Torchlight first. Now the reason all these goblins are hiding from me is because I've damaged them so much that they basically have a very small amount of hit points left, and they're sort of trying to run away from me. It happens with all the monsters, even dragons. However, if you go into turn-based mode, they will aggro on you again for some reason. I don't know why that is, but you know, usually when they start running away from you, it means that they're really slow. If you hit them again when they're running away from you, however, they aggro on you again. Let's see what's in the chest. Nothing special. Studded leather armor. Anything else? No. Oh, shoot. Let's just rest at this point. Recast my Wizard Eye and my Torchlight, and let's get back. We still have one more section of the tunnel to sort of explore. And hopefully we get some items at the end of it. But if nothing else, the experience makes it worth it to clear the dungeon out. I don't have Goblin Shamans, whatever. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Is it Shaman or Shaman? I don't know. I'm not even sure if it's pronounced melee or melee or whatever incarnation you want to come up with. So I know the French pronounce it melee. But then again, I'm not an expert in French, so neither am I an expert in English, as I might have heard. So I'm not a native speaker, guys. Bear with me. It's not that important. So as you can see, the bloodsuckers, while carrying the disease debuff, are actually fairly weak in terms of, you know, armor class and hit points. So I basically killed them before they got to me. And this is actually the end of the second sort of dead end.
Got it.
Just open this. Oh, there's a halberd here. And the paladin gauntlet. That's nice. Destroy undead. Sure, why not? Anything else? An emerald staff. So this is what I was talking about with the loot generation. When I opened it, when I opened this chest up the second time, it had more loot in it. However, usually when you open up the third time, it doesn't have anything in it. And this is it. We basically finished Goblinwatch. And what we're going to do is we're going to run back to the town hall, turn in the quest, heal up, sell all our things, and then we'll see what else we can do in New Sorpigal. There's pretty much nothing left on the overworld in terms of, you know, chests and camps that I need to clear, so I'm probably going to wrap up our New Sorpigal adventures and go into Castle Iron Fist next, which is the next region. The mobs do respawn, but different regions have different respawn timers. I think for New Sorpigal the respawn timer for the surface is 1 year in game, and the respawn for I think the dungeons is about 2 years or something like that. It is a too large amount of time to be, you know, waiting around for it to respawn. I'm gonna sell this ring. I think this is a nice amount of gold. Protection from poison, useless. Stun, useless. Poison spray, I'm going to... let's keep it. I can do a good amount of damage with poison spray if somebody comes near me, because it's a shotgun type spell. Haste. You know what, I'm going to sell it, and I'm going to sell blades. I'm going to keep Starburst though. Starburst could be useful if we have a mob of enemies trying to get to us in the overworld, because you can only use it in the overworld. Let me just do this quickly. And the reason I'm putting one below the other is because when you give items to a character, the items first sort left to right and then top to bottom. For example, if I wanted to give Serena the dagger and then the club, you'll notice that the dagger went to the left of the club. And that is actually a bad sorting mechanism in this game. 7 and 8, Mind Magic 7 and 8 have it top to bottom first, which is actually a lot more useful because more items, you know, are bigger in height than they are in width. So you don't need to organize your inventory as much.
Looking for a weapon?
Let's sell these to the blacksmith. Do you have anything we can use? We have a battle axe, but we can't. I mean, we can use it, but we have better items right now. And you have another piercing dagger, which I do already have equipped, I think. Yeah. So the staff and the cutlass to him as well. And oh, yeah, right. I forgot to equip the paladin gauntlets. He has the least amount of armor class. Yeah, Roderick's on 15. Equip this. And I think that you two are without gauntlets, so I'm going to get this. There we go. So now Serena is all done at 26 armor class, Alexis has 23 armor class, and Roderick has 20. And I can sell everything else because I have no use for it.
Don't touch the merchandise. Come back.
Now, one thing to note about hirelings is You might have noticed when I was picking up the money piles or the corpses of goblins that it said followers take X amount of gold. Basically, whenever you pick up a gold pile or you pick up a corpse that has money on it, followers will take a portion. The portion that they take is actually stated when you hire them. But the overall amount of gold is actually not that high, especially because when you sell items to shops you get the full amount of cash, and that is actually the best way to get gold in the first place. So it's not really that bad. Okay, so we need to wait another hour because the town hall, of course, only works from 10 AM to 2 PM. They work for 4 hours a day, while the blacksmiths and the armor smiths, they work for 12 hours a day. I don't know. I see a pattern there in real life as well. So let's wait for just wait a few minutes. 10 AM. Hello, Janice. We finish up the things we need to do at Goblinwatch. And we have another quest here which concerns evil cults that not kidnapped, but stole the Chime of Harmony. And there's a temple in Castle Ironfist that has the Chime of Harmony in it. It's actually quite a difficult dungeon at this point. But yeah, let's just check if we are eligible. No, we cannot train to level 7 just yet. But this is it, basically. We finished up all the business we had in New Sorpigal. It's time that we went to either Castle Ironfist or Mist. I'm not actually sure where I should go next. I'm probably going to go ahead and go to... I'm probably going to go to Mist first, actually, before heading out to Castle Ironfist and finishing quest there. Because there is something that I can do in Mist, and the overworld of Mist is a tad easier than it is in Castle Ironfist. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time when we will travel to the Islands of Mist. Bye, guys!